It is told that in a distant time, in a harsh desert where neither its cold nor its burning heat showed mercy, there lived a poor man named Ghaith. One freezing night, Ghaith lost his old house when its worn-out walls collapsed after the second storm, leaving him with nothing but a small cave carved in the heart of a mountain. There he sheltered with his two little children, Salma and Yusuf, and their loyal dog. Ghaith was a simple, hard-working, kind-hearted man who carried no hatred for anyone, even though life had shown him little mercy. On cold mornings, he would leave the cave with only one hope in his heart: to find some work that might bring food and water for his children. He went to the market dozens of times, offering his strength to anyone who needed a camel driver or a helper in their shop. But each time, he returned empty-handed, as though there were no place for the poor among people. One morning, while sitting on a rock near the market, he saw a young boy shaping a toy out of clay. He watched the small hands mold a simple lump of mud, turning it into something with form and character. At that moment, an idea struck him. If I cannot find work with others, I will create it for myself, he thought. He went to a vendor and bought a little clay with his very last coins. Carrying it on his back, he hurried back to his cave. That night, by the fire, he dried the clay and shaped with his fingers a beautiful jar of unique design, engraving upon it with his nails the pattern of a rare desert flower. The next morning, Ghaith carried the jar to the market and displayed it on an old mat in a corner. People gathered and asked who had crafted it. When they learned it was made by his own hands, they were impressed. He sold the jar early in the day for a good price. Encouraged, he made more, and when he returned the following day, people were already crowding for his work. Within days, Ghaith began earning enough money to buy food, blankets, and gifts to warm his children through the cold nights. For the first time in years, he felt a little comfort in his chest, but he did not know that someone was watching him. On his way back from the market, along the road that stretched toward the mountain, 3 bandits lay in wait. The first was called Talha, a rough-faced man. The second was Jabir, and the third Rami. They ambushed anyone returning from the market with goods or money. When they saw Ghaith, they stopped him. Talha sneered, "What are you carrying there, old man?" With fear, Ghaith replied, "The worth of a few clay jars to feed my children." Rami laughed. "And do you expect to eat alone? Where is our share of your labor?" Before he could finish, they seized everything the poor man carried. He pleaded, begged, but they shoved him harshly to the ground and left, laughing. Ghaith sat beneath a tree at the roadside and wept, not because he lost the money, but because he would return to his children empty-handed, their eyes filled with hope. He raised his hands to the sky and cried, "O Lord, I have never wronged anyone in my life. Why then all this injustice?" The days grew heavy. Ghaith returned to selling jars, but fear clung to him. He dared not leave the market except in secrecy. Until one day, at the gate of the market, he found a golden ring shining with a royal engraving. He picked it up and slipped it into his pocket, thinking little of it, perhaps just a forgotten trinket. But that evening, he heard one of the king's guards proclaim in the marketplace, "People, whoever finds His Majesty's golden